So you better be funny.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, we're going to start with an easy one.
Okay.
What's the last video game you played?
Let's see. I've been playing a new one on my phone. It's just kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Basically, you just build really cool cars and they have to fight each other.
There you go. Perfect. He likes video games. It's getting him comfortable. So Tristan, you're here because of your work with Deer River, because of your work and your whole connection with the Deer River Boys and Girls Club. Tell us your connection with the club.
Okay, so when I was in the 3rd grade, the Deer River Boys and Girls Club unit opened up. And I remember them coming to try to recruit people. There was 3 staff wearing really bright, like neon green shirts, super high energy coming into every classroom. And they were trying to recruit us to come for the summer. So I brought the paper home and gave it to my dad, who I was living with a single father, and he worked 12-hour shifts. So it was $5 a year for childcare for the whole summer. So it was a no-brainer there. But like he thought it was just kind of like, not like kind of like a babysitting thing where you just kind of go there and that's all it is. But he didn't understand that it was so much more. I don't think anyone in the community did at that time either. And then as I grew up, I just kept going. And then once I was 14 and I was still going, I decided to be a volunteer there. So I was just, helping around with like the work that needed to be done, like dishes or like keeping an eye on some extra kids and stuff. And then at 16, I became a junior staff, which gets paid through a grant. So you can get paid to work there at 16. And then when I was 18, I became a youth development professional, and that's what I'm still doing today.
And you're 21 now.
Yep.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about Boys and Girls Club. You alluded to it a little bit. It's more than just a place where people are taken care of. But tell us about the mission.
The mission, in like a shorter statement, is just to help provide underprivileged youth and help them reach their full potential, which is something that I've found to be like understated in everywhere else. Because like when you're going to school, it's just about meeting the standards. But a lot of these kids don't understand that they can reach so much higher than the standards that are provided for them.
So as you've grown up, there's been some staff there that has had a particular impact on you over the years. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, there was, like throughout growing up, there was like a small rotation of staff, but there was 3 people who were kind of always there, and that was Andy Chandler, Melanie Erickson, and then Kayleen Monticelli. And Kayleen, still my boss, she's been there since it opened up, and like she's been pushing me the whole time since I was younger to always do better, and she's still doing it to this day. That's why I'm here right now, she's always pushing me. And like Melanie was always like doing the art and the singing and like the cultural stuff, and like kind of really pushed you to get out of your own comfort zone and like see things and express yourself. And then Andy was the male figure there, and he was into sports and video games and pop culture. So like you felt comfortable being there with him. Like you knew he was an adult, but he still kind of felt like a friend.
So what do you think Boys and Girls Club gave you as a child?
I think it just gave me a safe place to feel comfortable and still be myself and not have to worry about the judgment from all the other kids, but then still provided me with so many more things to learn about myself too.
What do you think it gives you today?
Today, I think it gives me like my passion. Like I'm so afraid to work in a job that I don't want to go to every day and living for the weekend. And a job like this is something where every day you never know what you're going to get into, and you can still see like the effect you have on people. And that's what I enjoy so much about it.
Do you ever see your younger self in kids that are there now?
Yeah, I do, but it's so hard to like reflect on yourself. But there's a lot of kids who you see them trying to push the limits to see how far they can get away with things, which is something I feel every kid does. But then like you have to make that connection with them to let them know why that's a limit there, and like why you shouldn't push it, which is something I feel we're moving towards progressively in a different way of, instead of telling a kid not to do it, you explain it to them why not to do it so they can learn for themselves.
Yeah. So a consistent thread through our earlier conversation was how the Boys and Girls Club has always pushed you to do better, try harder. Would you mind sharing with us a time when you were pushed outside of your comfort zone?
Yeah, so through Boys and Girls Club, there was like a lot of expectation for like just being the best, which was the mission. And when we did things like Power Hour, you could get extra.
What's Power Hour?
It's a program that we run where you can earn points through doing homework and art and reading, and then you can bring it to the store, the Power Hour store, and use your points to buy stuff there. And there was a reward for your report cards. So like the goal at that point was to like get the best grades you can so you can get the biggest and coolest thing from the store. And like you would save up your points all throughout the year doing your art and stuff. And then like the report card was the big push because it was like 5 points for an A and then 4 for the B and so on. So like that's a 20-point item right there if you're doing good. So like that pushes you to be the best you can be to get that.
How do you push kids now that you're in the leadership position?
I think mostly it comes to when they say they can't do something. That's like it hurts to see a kid say they can't do something, but it feels great when you help them realize they can. So now it's like I'm working towards helping them explore instead of explaining the answers to them. And I feel like that gives them a better sense of accomplishment too, but it makes me feel good because you get to watch their progress as they're coming to the answer on themselves, and then you get to see the achievement they feel when they come to it on their own.
So kind of talking about that exploration, you've started and run the STEM program now at the Boys and Girls Club in Deer River. Can you tell us about an experiment you've done through that program?
So there's a couple that kind of stand out for different reasons, but one of them is we do an egg drop, which is a pretty common one, but instead of just letting them take stuff home and come up with their own idea, I set out like 20 different items that we have that are just office supplies or art project stuff. And then I give them 5 fake dollars, and they have to plan with their team what they're going to buy and how to build it. And then throughout that process, like not only are you forcing them to become creative on their own because they can't take things that are already made, they have to make it on their own, but then you have the teamwork and the planning process and the budgeting. And there's so many aspects in there that you're teaching them, but all they see is a fun project.
So how do the kids respond to those kind of projects?
Those ones are their favorites because they're a competition. And like, yet again, when it's pushing them to find the answer for themselves, when it's a competition, they're pushing themselves to find the answer before anyone else. So when we do the competitions, that's what they love the most because there's a bigger spotlight on them from all of the people around them when they achieve what their goal was.
So Kim kind of alluded to this, that it's known, apparently, that you are fun with a capital F. A bit of a prankster, let's say. Tell us about a time when you got someone good.
So it was about 2 weeks ago, me and a couple of the girls from STEM, where we made lava lamps to start, but that project finished kind of fast, so then they asked if we could make Jell-O. And I said sure, and we had a bunch of supplies for it, and we had a pot to boil some water. But in respect to the office, I decided to grab a big bowl and also put my boss's stapler in it as we poured the Jell-O and then let it sit overnight. And then I had another staff who works at the school in the morning come and put it on her desk before she got there.
I imagine the kids enjoy that.
Yeah. They didn't understand the reference, but the fact that we were doing it to her stapler was the best part.
They don't know Dwight?
Yeah.
At what point did you know that working at Boys and Girls Club was something you wanted to do?
When I was 14 and did the volunteering, like I was just going there because it's where I'd always known, so like it just kind of felt right to work there. And then at 16, it was just still volunteering but getting paid for it at that point. So I was like, it just made too much sense. And then at 18, I needed to get a job for like school and paying for that and traveling and stuff. So I stayed there and I figured like it was just an easy job. You get to play basketball, like there's no reason not to. It's really leisurely. But then that's when I became a youth development professional and I was able to attend trainings and stuff. And I've just learned so much on my way there. And now I don't know, it's just hard to explain. Like every day you find a new reason to want to work there because there's just so many different variables with so many different kids.
What have the kids taught you about yourself?
They've taught me to be patient. I mean, like about myself, it's like they taught me that I had really small patience to start. Like it was super easy to just it was super easy to just get like frustrated with the situation and just walk away from it. But they've also taught me how to handle these situations better and walk through their emotions, but not only mine too, and see how I'm reacting to their emotions and if it's the right way to handle it.
What do you see for yourself in 5 years when you're 26?
In 5 years, I'm hoping to find a way to continue doing what I'm doing, but have a larger impact. Like, I would hope to be in a larger community with more kids who have more diverse experience, who have less chance at these opportunities.
What do you see for yourself when you're in 20 years, when you're 41?
20 years, I hope to come back to a small community like Deer River or Grand Rapids and be able to provide everything I've learned from the larger communities back to the children and youth of this area.
Thanks, Tristan.
Thank you.